We haven't been perfect, but we have found ways to win. And needless to say, that tendency is going to have to continue if we want to make our way to the Stanley Cup final. In this episode, we take on the best team in the league, the 57-win Philadelphia Flyers in the Eastern Conference Final. Dallas plays Winnipeg, as you can see, in the Western Conference Final. And as I mentioned, we haven't been perfect. There was perhaps the shocking upset, the sweep of Tampa, in which you could say we were close to perfect. The Carolina Hurricanes exposed some of our faults, and of course some of our underperforming players led to that scare where it took a Game 7 victory to make it to this point, and now we face the biggest challenge we possibly could, again in the form of the best team in the league. Erik Karlsson is still our leading scorer in this postseason run. This is the lineup that we are going to go with. Jost, White, and Stone will continue to be the top line. They have been our best line and our best performers all postseason. It was asked of me in the last episode, if I don't believe that there's a chemistry system, which I don't, why am I afraid to break up Stone, White, and Jost? I'm not. It's just a matter of they are performing at such a high level. You could make the argument of, oh, well, wouldn't Borgstrom perform better with White and Stone? Maybe, but we've tried a lot of different things with someone like Borgstrom and Barzal, and it hasn't exactly worked. So we are again going to try something new. The second line is going to be Borgstrom with Matt Duchene and Nikita Gusev. Duchene has the better face-off ability. Borgstrom's better defensively, but we'll keep Duchene there for the face-offs. The third line, Logan Brown, Matt Barzal, and Ty Ronning. The fourth line, of course, they have been great. No complaints with them this postseason. They will stay the same. And defensively, we're going to keep Ellis and Karlsson together. Shabbat, Montour, Foote, and Dobson. The goaltender, no surprise, is Igor Shesterkin, a .936 save percentage, which is a good enough number to win, typically. I say typically because we don't exactly know what we're up against aside from the wins and the losses, and of course, knowing the fact that they're here. They're our opponent in the Eastern Conference Final. This is the Flyers team that put together that top record. The top line, 33-year-old Claude Giroux, 10 points this postseason in 13 games. So he has done tremendously well. Centered by Nolan Patrick, up to an 89 overall now at 22 years old. He has 8 points in those 13 games. And Voracek, now at 31 years old, still an 87 overall, has an absolutely ridiculous point-a-game pace. 13 points in 13 games. So that top line is ridiculous. The second line, and I got to admit, it'd be kind of interesting to see Jeff Skinner in Philadelphia. I suppose that could happen. I don't know if the Flyers would need him in real life, but that would be an interesting fit for them. Jeff Skinner is on the second line, 8 points this postseason, centered by Sean Couturier, who is a first-line player on the second line, so that's some good center depth. 7 points and a -6 this postseason. That is concerning, of course. You could look at it in two different ways. Either, oh, great, Sean Couturier is underperforming, or, oh, no, Sean Couturier is underperforming, and they've still made it this far. What if he finds his game? So I'm always nervous about that. Wayne Simmons rounds out the second line. 5 points this postseason. He is an 85 overall. So obviously that top six is very, very dangerous, and it doesn't necessarily get any easier with that third line. Starting off with Oscar Lindblom, 81 overall at 24 years old. Really good offensive awareness, just good offensive stats. In general, he has 7 points this postseason. Centered by Travis Konechny, who has surprisingly not developed. He's still only an 83 at 24 years old. The numbers are okay, especially offensively. In case in point, he's still producing 10 points in 13 games, but that overall isn't as high as you would expect. And to be honest, at an 83 overall, he should technically be a second-line player, so that's kind of weird. The final man on that third line is now 21-year-old Philip Zadina. He has 5 points this postseason. He's an 82 overall, still with that medium elite potential, well-rounded. That top nine is scary. Bottom line, and it doesn't get any easier with the fourth line. Starting off with Taylor Lear, 27 years old, and 80 overall. He has 6 points this postseason, centered by the, can you call him a veteran at 31? Probably. Sam Gagner is the fourth-line center, and Marcus Granlund is the fourth-line right wing. That is such a good team. That is such a well-rounded team. There is not a weak line. You even look at their fourth line. They are capable offensively, capable defensively. That's tough. And defensively, it does not get any easier. 92 overall, Shane Gostisbehere. He has turned into an absolute monster. Only 7 points this postseason. He's taken 40 shots for them. Only has 2 goals. To that low shooting percentage, same thing. You can look at it as it's a good sign for us, or it could be a terrible sign for us. His pairing mate, we'll say, is Provorov. Mr. Ivan Provorov. Ivan Provorov. 24 years old and 89 overall at this point. 6 points this postseason. On the second pairing, I was going to point out the shooting percentage and comment how nice it is, but come on, let's be adults here. Sam Morin, 84 overall, no points this postseason. 25 years old now, as you get a look at his attributes. Certainly defensive, very, very defensive and physical. He is with Jeff Petrie at 86, which is a little bit surprising, but 3 points, 33 years old. And the third pairing, Travis Sanheim, an 83, 1 point this postseason, and Marco Scandella. So good news, Flyers fans. No more Radko Gudas. Isn't that great? But you look at this defense, physical, and physical. The lowest physical rating is Ghost Bear at a 3.5. So this is going to be a physical series. And the goaltender, as you would expect, 91 overall at 22 years old, Carter Hart. Did I make him high elite? I don't believe I did. Only a 9-10, though. They have made it here in spite of Carter Hart struggling, which is kind of crazy. And again, very concerning. He only has 7 of their wins. Stolarz, yeah, okay. That makes sense, I guess. Stolarz has the other one. That's their 8 wins. Stolarz played 1 game and had a 21-save shutout. Wow. And in terms of healthy scratches, 2 defensemen, Derek Forbort and Robert Haig. So that is the team that was capable of putting up 57 wins. And I can believe it. I'm scared of their offensive depth. I'm scared of their defensive core with how physical they are. And if Carter Hart finds his game, we could be in a lot of trouble. That said, we are here for a reason. We are good enough to win this series. Will we, though? Well, that's the question that we're about to find the answer to. So let's start this series already. First period of Game 1. Of the Eastern Conference Final here in Philadelphia. Who will take the early lead? And the answer is the home team. 2 goals in 8 seconds. Giroux and Lear, the first and fourth line, capitalizing, and that is a rough way to start things. Again, 2 goals in 8 seconds. Can we bounce back from that in the second period? No, we cannot. Travis Konechny makes it 3. Colin White gets us on the board. Jeff Skinner makes it 4. 25 shots to 16. We are down 4-1 on the scoreboard as we start the third period. There's an early power play chance for the Flyers. That is killed off, but we are in an extremely rough situation. Under 8 minutes to go. This game is over. It's certainly not the way we wanted to start this series. As Nolan Patrick adds another one. It wasn't even an empty netter. 5-1 final for the Flyers in Game 1, 39 shots to 25. That is rough. 24 saves for Carter Hart, a 2-point night for both Giroux and Skinner. 1-0 Philadelphia in this series as Kevin Fiala is back, and that puts us in an interesting situation. A very interesting situation. What do we do now that Kevin Fiala's back? Because this fourth line has been pretty good. I think it would be Nick Paul that ends up sitting again, and we drop Ty Ronning. That's what we had before. We had Gagner, Smith, and Ronning. And that might be what we have to do again. And I think it's going to be. I'm going to trust Gabriel Gagner. Paul, I am sorry, buddy, but you got to sit. Kevin Fiala is back in this lineup, so that could be a boost for us. Fiala is, alongside Borgstrom and Barzal, they haven't exactly done for us what we would have hoped. I mean, Borgstrom's been the best of the bunch. But what do we do now with Kevin Fiala? Do we maybe start him off on the third line? Like Fiala, Brown, Barzal? Might not be a bad way to go. Fiala hasn't played in a decent amount of time. 2 points in 2 games, though, to start this postseason. I think that's what I'm going to do. Although, I am wondering now about that second line. The top line, I'm still liking. I mean, whether or not they're the top line or not, we'll find out. I mean, whether or not they should be. But from there, I'm honestly not sure what I want to do. I think I might keep Gusev and Barzal there. I mean, Gusev, 10 points, 8 points, 7. I'm going to go with that. Ty Ronning's been fine this postseason, but we have to give someone like Kevin Fiala the chance to be honest. I'm going to go Fiala, Barzal, Ronning. Let's go Brown, Smith, and Gagne. Make that Smith, Brown, and Gagne. We'll bump up Ty Ronning. Logan Brown's been a little bit disappointing in terms of offensive production. This makes sense. Let's go with that. I mean, that top 9 for us is incredibly solid. Defensively, we don't want to make any necessarily panic decisions, although that third pairing was picked apart a little bit. Oh, let's see. I'm going to go Shabbat Carlson again. I'm going to drop Montour. We're going to go Ellis, Dobson, Montour, and Foote. Although I am going to put Montour. Actually, we'll keep Montour on the strong side. Let's see how that goes. Kevin Fiala back in the lineup for Game 2 in what isn't necessarily a must-win. Obviously, though, you'd like to take a game on the road to begin a series, but as they say, you're not in trouble in a series until you lose at home. So a 2-0 series deficit isn't the worst thing in the world to start off with. So let's see what we get here. First period of Game 2, and Claude Giroux again scores the opening goal. We are down 1-0, despite outshooting them 12-7. So that's a little bit rough. I'm a little bit concerned at this point in time, I gotta be honest. Second period, can we get back into it? No, we cannot. 24 shots to 13. This is what I was worried about with Carter Hart. This is a rough spot to find ourselves in. Third period, down by a goal, outshooting them heavily. Can we find a way to get the puck past Carter Hart? An early power play chance for Philadelphia is killed off. 11 minutes to go, and we are struggling. We have a power play chance, though, midway through the period, and Colin White with the goal. 5 minutes left now. In regulation, Colin White has tied it only for Jeff Petrie to win it with 2:39 remaining. Sam Gagne adds an empty netter, and the Flyers take Game 2 by the score of 3-1, and they have a 2-0 series lead. A huge goal for Colin White. Jeff Petrie with the heartbreaker, and then Gagne with the dagger. We are down 2-0. Carter Hart with a 32-save performance. I mentioned being afraid of this very scenario, and we are living it right now. We have failed to hit our goal of winning a game on the road to start this series. Offensively, we're struggling, which we are going to have to make changes here. We have to. I'll probably break up that top line. More than likely. Who's performed the best this postseason? So 7 points for Ronning. Barzal is still just, do I just go off of overall at this point? I might, but then again, we've tried that, and players have underperformed. That's how we started the postseason. Jost, White, and Stone have still been just so damn good. Gusev and Duchesne haven't done much. Actually, that second line hasn't done anything since we've brought them together. So you know what? Let's go Fiala, Borgstrom, Gusev, Duchesne, Barzal, Ronning. And we'll see how that goes, just to try something different. But I'm keeping that top line the same. They have been our best line this entire postseason. It's guys like Borgstrom that need to step up. Whether or not they can do so, I mean, we'll find out here. Dobson and Foote are both being targeted here. And it's kind of an issue. Cal Foote, you're going to take a seat, buddy. And I'm going to bring in Connor Timmins for this next game. And we are going to shelter Dobson a bit by playing him with Montour. So Timmins, Ellis, Dobson, Montour. And if Dobson struggles, we might look at bringing in somebody else. But again, mixing things up. Trying to generate a spark in that bottom nine. The top line's delivering, but we need more. 2 goals in 2 games is not going to be enough. And certainly being outscored 8-2 over 2 games on the road to begin a series is certainly not good enough to accomplish what we're looking to accomplish. And that sets up this scenario. Game 3 on home ice. The series shifts to Ottawa, and we need a win. A loss here would be devastating for us. So first period of game number 3. Can we get that all-important first goal? Yes, we can. Thomas Chabot with the goal. Claude Giroux, for the 3rd straight game, scores in the first period, but Mark Stone is able to get the goal back and restore the 1-goal lead. We were outshot 12-8, but we have a 2-1 lead on the scoreboard. So Thomas Chabot starts us off there. Giroux and Stone, it's 2-1 Sens. Second period, can we at least maintain the lead? Yes, we can. Tyson Jost makes it 3. Claude Giroux, go away. Go away. It's 3-2. It is 3-2 at the end of 40 minutes. Mr. Giroux doing everything he can to keep his team in it. We've had 3 different goal scorers, Chabot, Stone, and Jost. So 2 goals from that top line, by the way. My God, I love them all. Third period, 20 minutes away. Can we get an early power play goal here? That would be huge, and it's an extended power play that we cannot take advantage of. We have another opportunity here, though, and we do take advantage of that. And guess who? All 3 members of the top line have scored a goal in this game. 6.5 to go, 4-2 on the scoreboard, and the Ottawa Senators are not done yet. 4-2 final. In Game 3, we have ourselves a series. Thomas Chabot and all 3 members of that top line with the goals. What an effort, and 30 saves for Igor Shesterkin in the victory. That is huge. It's huge. It is. God damn. I love this top line so much. They didn't start off as the top line, but they have continued to deliver time and time again. And Erik Karlsson has 21 points in 14 games. You absolute madman. Jost with 16 points. 16 points for White. 19 points for Mark Stone. Jeez, man. This has been an insane run for this team. If that top line can deliver like that for the rest of this series, we might have a chance if anybody else decides to wake up, aside from Thomas Chabot, of course. That sets up Game 4. We need to win this. We cannot afford to fall down 3-1. We cannot afford to lose on home ice. First period of Game 4, and that is not ideal. The doggo is also stirring. So you know what? Maybe stepping away for 2 seconds might not be the worst thing in the world. After Granlund and Giroux gave Philadelphia a 2-0 lead at the end of 20 minutes. All right, we're good. So back to reality, I guess. Back to this situation. Marcus Granlund and Claude Giroux, who again scores in the first period. Oh, I hate him so much. We outshot them 12-9. We're down 2-0. Second period. Can we cut the lead in half? Can we fight back beyond that? What's going to happen? Barzal gets the opening goal. Welcome to the playoffs, Matt. It's good to see you. Unfortunately, Provorov gets it back just under 4 minutes later. 3-1 Flyers at the end of 40 minutes. as we are potentially facing a 3-1 series deficit if we cannot reverse this score in the final 20. 24 shots to 24 Philadelphia. Third period. Let's get this underway. It is time. Borgstrom, Barzal. We have a power play opportunity here that we cannot take advantage of. Gusev, Duchesne, top players, all of you. Anybody, please? Pretty please? Possibly, maybe? You might think about playing some hockey today? No? Okay, well, there we go. It's a 3-1 victory in Game 4 for the Flyers. 33 shots apiece. 3-1 on the board. 3-1 in this series. Carter Hart with 32 saves. Provorov with 2 points. The 2-assist night for Couturier. And we are in a lot of trouble. A deep playoff run was the plan, but a deep playoff run that ends in 5 games in the Eastern Conference Final is not exactly how I wanted things to play out, as Winnipeg has a 3-1 lead on Dallas. Let's check over a couple of things here. First things first, team stats to check out our special teams. So in terms of goals for per game, by the way, we actually have the highest offensive output in the playoffs thus far. Problem with that being is a lot of that came in round 1. Goals against at a 2.27. It's so frustrating. We did so well in those first 2 series. Our power play is at 25.6%. So clearly we are seeing power play goals or not seeing power play goals early on in the first 2 periods of the sim. Our penalty kill, it just feels like we're not seeing that many power play goals because, of course, we're only seeing the 3rd period. Our penalty kill is at 86.2%. So that's not really an explanation. 4 goals and 29 kills. That's not really an explanation as to why we are falling flat here. As far as what we do to survive, I don't know. So do we reunite Borgstrom, Barzal, and Gusev and have a Duchesne, a Fiala, Duchesne, Ronning line? We could do it. That's really the one thing we haven't tried yet. Let's do we want to go with this? I don't know. I'm so disappointed. Fiala has 1 point since coming back. Duchesne's had 1 point like all series, I think. I think he was at 8 points at the start. He has 1 more assist. Ronning's been very quiet. In terms of other options, though, it's like, yeah, you got Nick Paul. Actually, how did Timmins do in that last game? He got ripped apart. All right. Well, Connor, I'm sorry. Let's bring back Calfoot. Dobson's been really struggling. Noah, I'm sorry, buddy. You're going to take a seat. We're going to bring in Timmins. Timmins and Foot did very well on a line together at one point. I'm going to go Montour and Ellis. And to be honest, I mean, Shabbat Carlson's been great, so let's go with Ellis and Montour. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll see how that goes. So we're going to take Noah Dobson out of the lineup. And in terms of any other call-ups, I mean, I'm not really sure what we could do. Someone like Gersich and Kravtsov, they're not exactly ready. They might provide a bit of a spark, but it's not going to be enough. Lajoie and Stillman. We have the team right now to get it done. They're just not getting it done. And I don't know, maybe I have my expectations a little bit too high, but when you add guys like Borgstrom and Barzal, you expect a little bit more. And we are currently facing elimination. It comes down to this. We must win 3 straight games, but we'll take it 1 game at a time. Game 5 back in Philadelphia. It's win or go home. We're going back to Ottawa one way or another. It's just a question of whether or not we're playing another game. First period of Game 5, and that is the perfect start. The top line delivers yet again. Tyson Jost with the goal 47 seconds in, and then Matt Barzal 10 minutes and 3 seconds later gets another goal in this postseason. It's 2-0 Sens, 9 shots apiece, but 2-0 on the scoreboard. Gigantic goals for Jost and Barzal. Second period, can we at least maintain the lead? we can, or at least we can maintain a lead, not the lead. Sean Couturier cuts into said lead early on in the first period, a minute and 36 in. However, that is the only goal they had that period. Shots are still about even. We were able to shut down the offense. We're going to need an insurance goal. That's obvious. Third period, can somebody, aside from Shesterkin, step up? Provorov with the goal. We're tied. Power play chance for the Flyers is killed off, but we are all tied up on the board. 11.5 to go in regulation. The next goal could very well win this game and potentially the series for Philadelphia. 3:40 on the clock. Are we going to overtime in Game 5? Yes, we are. A 2-0 lead evaporates. Couturier and Provorov with the goals. 32 shots to 24 in our favor, tied on the scoreboard. In an elimination game, we must score the next goal to keep our hopes alive. Let's do it. Overtime of Game 5. Can we get the goal? It's time for somebody to step up. I'm begging you, I am pleading you, Sam Gagner with the goal. And the Philadelphia Flyers have eliminated the Ottawa Senators in 5 games in the Eastern Conference Final. Don't know whose engine that is, but I'm not a big fan of it. 3-2 final in Game 5. The overtime series clinching goal from one Sam Gagner. 34 saves from Carter Hart. And that is an absolutely heartbreaking way to end our season. After sweeping Tampa, outlasting Carolina, we fall to the best team in hockey. There is no upset story to be found here. It is Philadelphia and Winnipeg in the Stanley Cup Final after both teams won their series in 5. And it's tough to even want to say, like, all right, it's over. But it is. Tyson Jost, 17 points in 16 games this postseason. I was unsure about trading for him. I think he's going to cap out at an 84 or an 85 overall. You know, we gave up Mike Hoffman and others to bring in Tyson Jost. That was a big move at the start. Tyson Jost performed. Colin White as well, 16 points, and the 19 points from Mark Stone. The only reason we were close, the only reason we were in the third round is because of these 3 men right here who absolutely stepped up. That brings us to the second line. 8 points for Henrik Borgstrom in 16 games after putting up 74 points in the regular season. Say what you want about me dropping him to the second and third line. He still has prime time power play time, or at least he did. He's on the second line now because, again, he was underperforming. That's not good enough. That's not good enough for someone of that caliber. And that always seems to happen when we get an elite player like that, and they just seem to shut down at crucial moments. Maybe there's a question of what Borgstrom's future is. We thought about maybe sending Barzal back to the Islanders. Maybe we don't need Borgstrom and Barzal. Maybe we make Florida and the Island. Maybe we make the Panthers and the Islanders pay the stupid tax, and we get a little bit of a return in exchange for these 2 players. Because I am extremely disappointed. 6 points for Barzal in 16 games is not good enough when he put up 25 points in 26 games last postseason. After a 90-point regular season last year, he had 39 points in 58 games, which is a tremendous pace. Horrifically disappointed in those 2. I couldn't go all out and just be like, okay, screw it. I'm bringing in Gersich and Kravtsov for them. I thought about it. I honestly thought about it. Nikita Gusev, he did all right. 13 points. I feel like he was shut down a little bit in the Flyers series, but 13 points in 16 games, I cannot complain. Kevin Fiala came back from injury. He finished with 3 points in 6 games. We've talked about his future with this team. He might have been gone anyway, and he still might be. Matt Duchene was absolutely shut down in the Flyers series. I believe he only had 1 point in those 5 games, so that's disappointing. Ty Ronning as well, no points, I do believe, in that Flyers series. And the fourth line as well, 5 points for Zach Smith in the postseason, 3 for Logan Brown, which what does his future bring at this point? And Gabriel Gagne, 3 points, but a +4. Not too bad for a 79 overall grinder. We have questions. We have big decisions to make with this team coming up that involve some big-time players. I don't know what this team is going to look like next season. The goal is to be competitive. But when you look at some underperforming players, the question is, well, what makes us the most competitive team that we can be? Is it automatically just, the higher overall, the better? Not necessarily. Thomas Chabot had 4 points and was a +9. Erik Karlsson had 1 goal and 22 assists. He was a monster. The goal is to win with Erik Karlsson. We only have a couple years left of his prime to do so. Ryan Ellis, 3 points this postseason. Might try to re-sign him. If we haven't already, I can't remember, to be honest. We'll probably look to re-sign him so we don't lose him for free. Montour, not a big point getter. Foote and Timmins both struggled a bit. And then Shesterkin, 926 save percentage is good, but often not good enough to win in the postseason. So overall, it was a good season. Not quite what we wanted. And there are a lot of decisions to be made moving forward. For now, I'm going to stop the episode. We'll find out who wins the cup in the next one. We'll take a look at all the awards, and if the Flyers win, at least we don't need to look at their team. We'll get to the draft, which could be a major moment for us in this series. For now, as always, I thank you very much for watching. You know what you can do to support the video and the channel, of course, beyond just donating your time. Hope, of course, you were entertained, right? Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Notification bell, all that fun stuff. Links are in the description to my Twitter and Twitch. Give me a follow on both of those platforms if you haven't already. And I will repeat, subscribe if you haven't already. We're approaching 10K. Want to hit 10K before the end of September? I think that's manageable. For now, have a good day, evening, night, morning, afternoon. If you're eating brunch, I hope it's delicious. I'll see you in the next one.